What up? Welcome back. I am Chris Telesbo. We are still playing Disc Golf Valley. We are on to Windswept Fields, which is probably the most frustrating course. Wind isn't fun, but there are a lot of good lessons in this that translate to real disc golf as well, if you're into that. So yeah, same as normal. 2 rounds through. One trying to score, one trying to not get in trouble. First hole, usually an accurate wind musket. These are pretty overstable feeling, so I can put it on a little bit of turnover in that strong crosswind, and it's going to fight out. In that landing strip short of the basket there, if you land there, you slide up pretty well. So no worries about going too far. Pretty consistent 2-shot for me. Longer hole, anything, pretty much any wind I throw like glide ballista, that's way too high. So this is going to stall and dump out pretty hard. But luckily, yeah, the roller physics right now let that cut roll back. So got away with it. That should have been way more turned over or way lower to get a farther shot out of it. But a little bit of turnover on the putt to counteract that wind, and that's in for 2. Same kind of play here. That wind's going to push anything to the right, so we're going to throw low with a little bit of hyzer to trust that it'll get up and ride, but it's going to finish left, keep me away from the water. It actually comes in a little hot and starts doing the cartwheels of doom, but it stops. We're happy with that too. Since this is downhill and a headwind, I switched to forehand. I feel like if you have downhill and headwind and switch to forehand, it putts pretty similarly to a normal backhand shot. So another little trick I use. This guy, with wind coming right to left, the only bad miss is to go into that pond. So I'm going to start left, I'm going to flex something with the wind. That's that overstable musket again. It's going to come back nice. Should scoot up. Pretty close to circle putt. Yeah, happy with that. Again, the only miss you can't make is going in that pond. Anything else is okay. Alright, left to right wind. This is a fun hole as long as the wind isn't straight at you. Like glide ballista, same thing as the other hole. A little bit of hyzer just to come back. Pretty good look. And with that left to right wind, I'm not too worried about getting up over this hill. If you have a tailwind or you get it up too high, it can push you up and over that, so be a little wary. But that low little hyzer flip play works real well in that left to right wind. This hole, I try to play to the back of that slope. This is a fuse. Headwind left to right, so I'm thinking it's going to push it to the right. I didn't give it enough hyzer, and I gave it too much height. So if you think about the end of that hill is like facing forward, off the corners it goes side to side. So I missed off the right side, it spit me right. But luckily, straight headwind, I can throw that guy in. Not happy with that tee shot though. I try to land on the back of that hill and just scoot down to it. So favorable wind on this hole. If it's right to left, I'll throw this musket straight up on a little bit of hyzer, try to get it through that gap in the trees or even up over it. Make sure you finish left, get a look at it. If the wind is left to right, I'll go up to my windbreak glide recoil just to help make sure I get that finish to the left. But favorable wind, musket shot. I think this rates is one of the harder holes in the game, and it makes sense. If you run at it, it's kind of tough. So I usually just play in between the water and the tree right here, slide over the fuse. Usually lands about the circle's edge, 13. That's still a makeable putt. I'm happy with that. If the wind is harder, sometimes I'll throw a sidearm river at that same spot, just trying to slide up in there. A little bit of a helping wind here, so I'm going to go fuse, just float it straight. It'll make it, and it'll sit nicely. If I have a hurting wind here, sometimes I will again step up to that forehand river, just to make sure you make the island, right? Because the worst miss is going in the water. If you have a harder putt, you have a harder putt, you can still make that. And there's 12. Fine score. You got the eagles. I don't really run any of these, so I'm happy with that. Got an opposite wind this time. Cool. So same idea. Land the musket short. Fight into the wind. I like to hyzer into the crosswinds to finish. Slide up there and make the little putt. So yeah, a lot of the wind strategies I use on this course are kind of how I think about them for disc golf as well. So right to left wind, I'm going to try to flex a recoil. Again, not turned over enough for how much wind there is, but for a safe look at birdie, it doesn't really matter where this tee shot goes, as long as you get out here somewhere. I'm going to pitch up the fuse because it's heavier, it goes straighter, it's a little bit less squirrely than the pure. So I'll be pitching up a couple fuse shots this safe round, just to make sure I can make all my putts and not run anything from 20 meters short to 20 meters long, because that sucks. Again, recoil. The pond is the only bad miss. I'm not worried about this going in the pond because it's so overstable. so it's going to go left. It slid up there pretty well, but that's definitely still not a putt I want to run in a safe round. So we're going to baby a fuse, and it's going to slide right up to it. And I think these holes are kind of like on the borderline. If you're birdieing these all the time and getting the eagles all the time, you'll be pretty competitive in this game. When the winds pick up 4 and 5, it can definitely get out of hand quick. So put in the time. Big tailwind here, so same idea as last time, but aiming more left. I actually slid to the right side of the tee pad and aimed left. So that whole line, instead of going straight out the basket, kind of steers over to the left, just to make sure I don't hit the water. And it actually happened to get a nice little skip and slide up to it. So very happy with that shot every time. Super safe play. Got the same left to right wind, but I'm going to play it safer, not risk that flip over. So I'm going to throw a recoil way right. This will finish pretty straight, but that wind's going to help it push straight. So cool that it slid that far. And this is, I think, yeah, this is actually puttable now. So I'm going to go ahead and try to throw this guy in. Bonus eagle. If you don't get it, that's fine. I think, again, 3 stars is only 7 down. So playing for all birdies, 9 is fine. You can get 2 pars in there and still get that 3-star. So same thing as last time, opposite wind, and I throw forehand instead of backhand, but I forget to give it the hyzer for how much height I had. So it also missed the side of the hill, but this time it cartwheel of doomed towards the basket instead of away. So I only have 17, where last time I had like 26. Terrible shot, scared of the headwind, but that's a par, that's okay. I got the bonus eagle, we're still on pace for 9. Alright, so hurting wind this time. Last time we had that right to left and I went musket. This time we have left to right, and I'm going to go recoil. And I'm going to throw this right at the top of the tree because that wind is going to help push it around it. And that's going to make sure I keep fighting left the whole time. I have a hard time getting the musket left enough in that hurting wind to get a putt. And you don't want to be putting uphill into a 5 headwind. That's a tough spot to be. So recoil helps me out there. You could do it with like a ballista too, I'm sure. But so this time we have a gliding wind. It's going to help push stuff right and forward. Same shot though, in between the water and the tree, that's fine. Could have used a little bit more hyzer, but I'm not going to complain about that because I'm still in that putting boundary. And I do aim up a little bit. 15 meters with a headwind is farther than my putt will go. So that little bit of angle up helps carry that 15 meters in the wind. 8 through 8 is good. Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, so I have headwind this time. I went backhand river to be super safe. Pretty sure forehand river would have made it. But again, if I'm worried about the water and I want a safe play, safe look at birdie, I'm going to go too long. And then 15-meter tailwind putt, that is in the putting range, so I don't have to adjust that aim. I can just throw it in. No shame in that. But again, for me, most of these are birdie holes. The par 4s, the 3 of them, I do like to get the eagle, and I did this time, but the wind isn't always favorable. If you have a strong headwind on any of those, it can be hard to get there in one. But find a way. If you like these videos, like, subscribe. Click my little face right there, and until the next one, cheers.